am the Kid Movie Ninja.
Hi, Internet!
And welcome to Kid Movie Ninja with your hosts Fighting Leaf and Husky the Wolf. Last time we took a look at a movie made in the 90s, the golden age of animation. If any of you went out to track down this movie, like you should, you would probably notice that characterization was probably not this movie's biggest priority.
That's not a problem at all. That movie was meant to focus on plot, and it was great!
Today, however, we'll be looking at a movie that focuses less on plot and more on the individual personalities of each character. Think of it as a study in contrast.
Now we present Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation.
Tiny Toon Adventures was another cartoon produced in the 90s, this time by Warner Brothers. It was a series of short sketches that focused on different characters who were all younger derivatives of classic Looney Tunes characters. This short mini-sode formula, a technique they would later perfect in Animaniacs, was also applied to their first and only direct-to-home video film entitled Tiny Toon Adventures: How I Spent My Vacation. This presents us with a bit of a problem, though.
You guys think we hop around a lot in movies we normally review? Well, it's a million times worse here because there's like a jillion different plots going on.
Not that the film does a poor job of handling what it has, it just means that our normal form of reviewing something just won't work here.
So what do?
Remember our Treasure Buddies review?
The one no one liked because you crammed too much story and not enough review?
That's the one, and we're gonna do that again, only this time, we're gonna do it right.
Awesome!
The movie is pretty much what it says on the title. We basically follow the adventures of these aptly named Tiny Toons during their summer vacations. Each set of characters has a different adventure, complete with different goals and payoffs.
Meet Buster and Babs Bunny. No relation. Reference! Their adventure starts when Buster and Babs start soaking each other with water guns, and then Hoover Dam, and then an actual tsunami.
I do this water thing to Babsy throughout the entire video.
To quote a meme, that escalated quickly.
Thankfully, this is a cartoon, so the only actual consequences are Buster and Babs getting washed away downriver to face the great unknown.
Meanwhile, these two, Plucky Duck and Hampton J. Pig, embark on a life-changing road trip to a magical place called Happy World Land.
But not before some hilarious 90s era technology jokes.
Old Bessie's about to hit 100,000 miles.
And apparently that's reason enough to stop paying attention to the road while a little green duck surrounded by stop signs is trying to get you to notice him. Ha! You got hurt.
Hooray!
Oops. Forgot to take off the lens cap.
Wow. Remember when that's how those used to work?
Yeah.
We'll back up and do it again.
Remember when that's how those used to work?
Yeah.
We're old!
Those are the two main plots in this story, but there are a few other lesser ones going on in addition to those.
We have Fifi LaFoume, a French skunkette trying to get the autograph of the vapid Johnny Pugh. Shirley MacLaine trying to put up with Foulmouth, which is his full name apparently, while at the movies, and our favorite of them all involves the little hell spawn Elmyra Duff, looking for a new pet to torture. We'll get to her later.
There's one more thing you should probably know about this movie and about the series as a whole.
It's freaking musical!
The entire first 3 minutes are one long intro song. It doesn't overstay its welcome or anything, at least not in my opinion. It's just that animation wasn't the only part of 90s cartoons that had the huge budget. Full orchestral music with context-specific musical cues. Oh, how I miss those days.
But yeah, now that you know the basic premise of the movie, now it's time to move on to the next part.
Now we're getting to the real meat of this movie and the series as a whole. The characters.
These floppy-eared freaks are Buster and Babs Bunny. They're not actually related, as mentioned before, making scenes like this not creepy at all.
His music does have a certain rustic, je ne sais quoi, romantic charm.
If you know what I mean.
Not one little bit. I guess the last name, Bunny, must be the rabbit equivalent of Smith or Johnson or Schmitty Werben Jägermensch.
Buster, voiced by Charlie Adler, is a laid-back trickster who doesn't take anything particularly seriously, and that includes life-threatening situations. Unless they include being forcibly married to and subsequently eaten by more than one gator girl.
I can't marry all three of them. That's bigamy.
No, that's bigger me.
This movie's freaking messed up. I love it! Babs' buddy, voiced by Tress MacNeille, is usually pretty relaxed too, but that's hard to maintain when you got a wascally wabbit constantly harassing you with water pistols. And then getting washed downriver away from your friends, family, and any means of feeding yourself.
Hot pepperoni, tasty spumoni. We haven't eaten in weeks.
Babs loves performing for people, and in particular she loves doing impressions.
Ah, Ricky, I want to be in the show.
And yet she's far from a one-trick pony.
Get out of here!
That's something Nickelodeon is starting to lose touch with nowadays. Characters like Mr. Krabs or Cosmo and others really seem to only have one joke to them. Oh, look, he's being greedy. Oh, look, he's stupid. Get it?
Scrooge was greedy, yeah, but even that didn't completely define who he was. Babs likes doing voices and putting on costumes, but that's not her answer to everything. Looking at you, pink thing! Whoa, they're right. It really does raise your views when you reference ponies.
Ugh. Out of the two of them, Babs is the first one to take responsibility and get things done.
Yeah, we've been focusing on her too long. We got a bunch of others to deal with. For example, here's Plucky Duck, voiced by Joe Aleski. He's pretty much a carbon copy of Daffy Duck, only with less spit in his speech and painted green.
He's usually self-centered, arrogant, and always willing to put others down in order to prop himself up. However, that doesn't really factor in much in this movie. Yeah, it was kinda rude of him to beg his friend's family to bring him along on their road trip to apparently the best place on Earth, but other than that, all of his gripes and complaints along the way were completely legitimate.
I miss school.
This is Hampton, voiced by Don Messick. He's pretty much the nicest guy ever, and the most easy to take advantage of. But his family is horrible, and he doesn't even know it. Check out this exchange.
Hey, is it just me or is it hot in here? How about a little AC, huh?
Air conditioning wastes gas. I'll just crack a window.
Don't you dare, Wade. People would think we can't afford air conditioning.
Horrible people!
Yeah, Hampton's character is probably the blandest out of everyone's here, as he serves primarily as a means to get Plucky on this trip in the first place. But his family, Wade, Winnie, and Uncle Stinky, are kinda the worst people to ever go on a car trip with, and it reaches its worst moment when this fellow arrives.
Hi there, young fella. Need a lift?
Newsflash. A psychotic killer has escaped from the state maximum security prison.
The radio tells them all, point blank, what the loose psycho looks like, and this is how they respond.
555-9.
Honestly, there's so much sensationalism in the media these days.
It's like they live in their own little world apart from reality.
That's the genius of these characters. All they are is just mildly exaggerated examples of people that you can't stand to be around and yet still can exist in real life.
What do you mean, mildly?
Everyone knows someone like them, and if you don't, well, sorry to say, but if you don't know anyone like them, you probably are that person.
And poor Plucky. He's gotta suffer the whole drive from Hollywood, California to... I guess Happy World Land is supposed to be a parody of Disney World, so all the way to Florida? You mean this guy is so cheap that he won't buy friggin' plane tickets for his family, and yet he'd rather spend the whole summer just driving there?
It's like we've been saying throughout the entire review. They're horrible people. And yet they don't begin to compare with the one serious flaw this movie has. Elmyra. We'll be getting to her before long.
Next up on the list is Shirley MacLaine, voiced by Gail Mathias. She's pretty much a valley girl through and through, but she also is into mystical, magical stuff. She got magical powers as a result, because hobbies do that.
Her partner in this story is Foulmouth, voiced by voice acting legend Rob Paulsen, who does a lot of voice acting in this movie, come to think of it.
Here's a fun drinking game. Take a shot whenever you hear someone voiced by either Rob Paulsen or Frank Welker.
It's a game guaranteed to kill you.
Bring the kids! Really though, there's not a lot to talk about here. Foulmouth is pushy and Shirley is irritated by him. Man, that sounds really lame when I say it. Wait, it's not though. It's funny! It's really funny! Ah!
He's right though, and that's part of why I wanted to cover this. Some of these scenarios don't sound that interesting in and of themselves, but the scenarios are not the driving force here like they were in the DuckTales movie. Here, mundane things are made interesting because you're seeing how interesting people deal with it.
Honey, what do you want?
He called me honey.
This is one you'll just have to see for yourselves. Our explaining it won't do it any justice. What we can do is move on to the very last character.
Husky.
Oh fine, second to last character we'll be showcasing.
Fifi LaFoom is voiced by can I have a nation of origin, please? Whatever. She's the closest of any of the Tiny Toons to being a true carbon copy of the Looney Tunes character she's based on, beaten only by Plucky Duck.
All the other characters manage to put interesting twists on their formula or go in different directions completely, but she's pretty much just Rule 63 applied to Pepe Le Pew. And shorter. And purple.
Also, this opening bit seems to be the only time she actually smells bad to anyone around her. This is a personal gripe, but her inconsistent odor has always bothered me, even as a kid.
Oh, can it? It's not a big deal.
I know,
Not a big deal! What is a big deal is how Fifi will do just about anything to get an autograph from her favorite skunky superstar, Johnny Pugh, also voiced by Rob Paulsen. You should all be drinking now!
As it turns out, though, Johnny is a jerk.
I would die for you.
I know, but that won't be necessary. You can just carry my stuff.
Again, this seems like a pretty uninventive scenario, but it works because it's fun. Even in this farcical adventure, you can see how her heart falls as she learns more and more what a living piece of garbage he is.
Popcorn pour vous?
Babe, take out the unpopped kernels, okay? They'll chip my calves.
Makes me want to cry a little. Then laugh. A lot. Well, there's only one character left to talk about.
Indeed there is. I suppose there's no use in putting it off any longer. Time to talk about Elmyra.
I, capital H, hate this character. And it's not just us. Elmyra Duff, voiced by Cree Summer, was by far the least popular character on the show with fans. And yet writers seem to think she was comedy freaking gold or something.
True story. The network Kids WB actually gave the order to retool the show Pinky and the Brain so that it would feature Elmyra as a main character. It was called Pinky, Elmyra, and the Brain. It was cancelled after 5 or 6 episodes and yet still managed to win a Daytime Emmy.
If that's not proof of bribery, I don't know what is!
If I focus too much on this, it'll quickly turn into a rant about how much I hate this character, so we'll give you the bare essentials.
She loves animals, a lot, and is horribly violent and abusive in her expression of said love. She's immune to almost all forms of comedic karma, meaning that no matter what horrible things she does to any of these critters, nothing sufficiently bad ever happens to her to balance it out.
In the show, there was an attempt to give her more depth as a character with her romantic relationship with Montana Max, who doesn't really feature in this film. But here, she's just a one-note force of horror that I simply cannot stand.
I freaking hate her so much I can't control it!
I don't know if it was the producers or the network who loved her so much, or maybe this character just had fans that I just didn't know about. That being said, the inclusion of Elmyra does not ruin this movie.
Of course not! This movie is great! Wait, isn't the last branch of storytelling supposed to be setting?
Well, that gets problematic when you have multiple independent stories going on in different places all over the place. So we'll just talk about how these stories work together as a whole. There's a concept in media called the interest curve. It's basically the secret to maintaining audience interest in what you're showing them.
Each adventure has its own curve, with rising action followed by a peak, and then a descent, which leaves the viewer ready to see something different.
It never feels like it's jumping around too much. These are all little self-contained episodes that add up to a greater whole. It's like watching an extended and really good episode of the TV program.
Only it's even better, because since it came out on video first, you had the option to fast forward through anything that had Elmyra in it, and you wouldn't have missed anything important. I freaking love that!
So, what's our verdict?
Were you even watching the freaking video?
Our verdict is a solid... Buy this freaking movie or we'll track you down in your homes and remove your arms and legs.
With a wood chipper. Love, Leaf, and Husky. Husky and Leaf.
There now. That wasn't so bad, was it?
Get us out of here!
Freaking whiners. The kid movie ninja.
Beneath the ocean, beneath the ocean, we make big commotion beneath the ocean.
Wrong cartoon.